What else was really good was that clip of Joe Rogan talking about if the media was legitimate and they were doing their job, they'd be talking about the mortality rate and what is happening in the last several years with Americans.
Yeah.
That was
it was
really
an
good.
RFK Jr. deal.
Mm-hmm. All right. Show before the show. New Year's Eve day. Joe, do you have your camera with you today or no?
I do.
In case okay. I was going to say I can.
Is it plugged in, ready to go, Joe?
Plugged in and ready to go.
Every day.
I try. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year's Eve to you, Tanya. What are you doing tonight? Anything exciting? Hi there, Terry. How are you? Happy New Year's Eve.
Hey guys, welcome into the show before the show. We appreciate you being here.
Good morning, Cindy. How are you doing? Stephanie, good morning. Hello to all of the other people listening on the other platforms as well. Rumble, YouTube.
Boom, 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 boom. TikTok. You don't stop.
Ooh, Tanya, that sounds good.
What do you mean by that?
Viviano's is where...
The cancel this partnership ad? The one that you told me not to play yesterday or whatever?
No, that's the one I like. Our video. We need to do it. We need to stop that video because Biden's out. I think that I meant the video.
No, I was going to do something like at the start of the new year.
Yeah.
I already had that.
All right, then we'll do it normal.
Yeah, sorry.
Good morning, Sasha. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
Woo!
Hey,
That's
Kimberly.
what Greg says from the chat line. Woo!
Greg, I haven't even checked my messages this morning. I'm going to check real quick because I know you sent me a message. Oh, gosh. The horrifying sound of Jell-O going through a shredder. I can't hear it right now, Greg, because I can't turn it up. Or everybody will hear it, but that looks super weird and interesting. I'll check it out after
Jell-O
the show.
in a shredder?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any noise, does it?
I don't know. It sure looks pretty weird. Did you get that one, Joe, from Greg?
No, I did not.
Okay.
You're special, not me.
Oh, well, thank you, Greg. Play it so I can hear it, Greg. Okay, I will, since it's the show before the show. I won't play it loud though. I gotta check this out.
It is the show before the show. Appreciate everybody being here and liking, subscribing, sharing. Yep. Tanya says the Tigers won. Back and forth game. Talking about the Missouri Tigers. Congrats to Mizzou. Another 10-win season. In the last 18 years, they have 7 10-win seasons. No doubt cementing that they are a football school. 21 wins in 2 years for Brady Cook. Mizzou's rocking and rolling. It is a great time. Top-notch football program. So, yes, I was super, super happy to watch my Tigers win yesterday, playing with 4th and 5th string receivers. Brady Cook, if you don't make the NFL, maybe you could come be the quarterback of the Battlehawks. Caw-caw! Actually, or you'll be making millions in business. Brady's dad, businessman, owns the Sugar Fire out there in O'Fallon area, Darden Prairie.
Addie, good morning. Happy New Year's Eve morning to you as well. Good morning, Heather. How are you? Greg, yeah, I played it. That was a weird sound. I don't get the music though coming in on the latter part of the video. We'll talk later about that.
Stephanie, yes, that was a fun game to watch. Now you need Notre Dame to beat Georgia. Sure, everybody has their favorites. Notre Dame, sorry, they just blew out Indiana. I know you're rooting for Indiana, Megan, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Indiana didn't play one winning football team all year until they played Ohio State, and then Ohio State beat them. Well, Michigan was 6-6.
We beat them.
Michigan sucks this year. Michigan's had one of their worst years ever. And then Indiana played Notre Dame and got crushed. It was a nice story this year with a nice coach and a nice team. And it was fun. But when you don't play anybody and then you play a good team, we saw. But I love their coach. I love where they're going. And now it's just up to their recruiting. And by the way, since we're talking football, people may be surprised, but I think Indiana will be around to stay because they have committed to football and they have a massive endowment of money at Indiana that a lot of people may not realize.
Well, they should, because
it's in the top,
pay for it.
It's in the top 10 of colleges when it comes to the amount of money that they have and are ready to put in to their NIL for football. So I think they will be just fine. Yes, I know their schedule did not prepare them for Notre Dame, not even close. They had to play who was on their schedule. It wasn't their fault that they got hyped up for Ohio State and Indiana. But they did a remarkable job coming from one of the worst football teams in America to being one of the best this year.
Good morning, Paul. You're in cardiac rehab and
praying
for you to continue on your healing journey. We're here for you. So just listen for the next hour.
Yeah, Glenn, that's it. As we get ready, as we do the show before the show, we're having our own little private talk here. Yes, Drink did something to the kicker. Mizzou has now one of the best kickers in America, 51, 56-yard field goal yesterday, which was amazing. Chris says Indiana SMU should have never been in the playoffs, just like Colorado shouldn't have ever been taken serious as a contender. You certainly have a lot of people who agree with you, Chris. And then, of course, the Indiana contingent would say, shame on you. The SMU contingent would say, shame on you. It's just unfortunate that Indiana and SMU both looked so bad, but they'll be back. Both those teams will be back. And SMU, another program with tons of money like Indiana. They will be back. All right, guys, let's rock and roll with the show, Joe. Are you looking to elevate your brand's presence? Partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO-targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized,
and the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together. Hey guys, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust. That is Megan Marie Moret. And we've also got Projo in the house today. Happy New Year's Eve. It is December 31st, 2024, the last day of this wild, wacky, crazy year as we say good night and hello to 2025. I am interested in all that you have to say today. Megan is interested in all that you have to say. Projo, the same way. Hey, give us your predictions for 2025 today. Predictions when it comes to this wild, wacky world that we live in, the up and down, all around roller coaster ride that we may or may not be taking. Look forward to that. Also, when it comes to possible New Year's resolutions, we can do that today. We can do that Thursday. Jump in and let us know. When it comes to some of the topics, the White House media room is going to look a whole lot different in 3 weeks. We've been talking a little bit about that over the past couple months. Will the usual suspects from the national media, the line, fake media, have their same seats? Will podcasters be there? Will social media be represented? We'll hear from the new White House press secretary on that. The Mike Johnson situation, I guess, for speaker, which is going to be voted on Friday, was lessened a little bit by Donald Trump at the end of our show yesterday, but you'll hear Mike Johnson talking about the support, the public support that President Trump is giving to him right now. Gotta love Donald Trump trolling Democrats, as he will not let people forget. Just remember who the media types were that swore to us that Biden's mental acuity was top notch during 2024. And I think we know that that was different. Just wait to hear some of the things that we saw there. Also, if we have time, we'll get it. What did you send to Joe today? Didn't you send some video to Joe?
I did. Well, I sent you the video about Mississippi Valley State University invited to play at the inauguration. Yes, and it is a historically Black college, known for their academics and their culture. And there are so many people that are upset that a Black college would accept this invitation. The last time that they played was at Richard Nixon's inauguration.
All right, we'll break that down a little more then. Also, I saw this on social media, then Fox picked it up. Flight passengers debate. Seat switches on airplanes. We get into, this is a news story that it's one of Fox's biggest stories when it comes to amount of people weighing in with topics. If somebody asks you to switch seats on an airplane, should you or should you not? Do you have a right to ask somebody to do that? I've been asked in the past, and I did because I didn't mind. But should you? Should somebody put you in that situation? We can get into that as well. And anything else that may be on your mind. We're just ready to rock and roll, guys. I'd love to start right off the bat this morning with this whole, if it's all right, with the whole Mike Johnson situation. Mike Johnson is being backed by Donald Trump. He has a razor thin margin, though, in the House. I mean, it's very, very thin. I mean, Republicans have a 217 to 215 House majority. He needs 216 to secure the speakership for the next Congress, presuming that every member, I repeat, every member is present and voting for a candidate. But there's already one Republican that I know that said that he's not going to vote for him. So that's going to be an issue. And then you've got, Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, the minority leader's already said he's not sure that he's going to be voting for him. So could this be an issue? Could it stop Trump? I don't think so. I think they'll work it out. But if not Mike Johnson, who else? So here's Mike Johnson talking about this yesterday in regards to the support that Donald Trump has now thrown towards him and his vote.
Humbled and honored to have President Trump's endorsement for Speaker again. He and I work so well together, so closely together, and we have a lot of big things to do. He recognizes that what we need right now, I think my colleagues recognize this as well, is a proven fighter and a true MAGA conservative, but also someone who can work with every single member of our very diverse House GOP so that we can get President Trump's priorities over the line. That's what's ahead of us. I think this could be the most consequential presidency and Congress of the modern era because we have to fix everything, and it has to start on day one. So
Mike Johnson, I think, is going to get elected. I'm curious for your thoughts on this whole situation, Megan, because I don't trust him, but if Donald Trump trusts him, maybe I should.
Right. I think that ever since his name was even brought up to be the possible speaker, there was so much contention on both sides as we sat and we watched that all happen and play out. I think that the biggest thing about Mike Johnson that really worries people is his support for Ukraine. And I would have loved for her to have piggybacked on this yesterday and asked him, hey, by the way, Speaker Johnson, how do you feel about that extra 2.5 bill that we gifted Ukraine again today? I would have loved to have heard what he had to say about that. As far as people that are not going to vote him back in Congress, there are several people that have come out and said, and this is on the Republican side, I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for him, but I want him to answer some questions. I want him to tell us what he plans on doing about A, B, and C. He's never had any clear cut conversations or how he plans to execute these things, and they want to know. And yesterday someone brought up, well, who else wants to be Speaker of the House? Well, there are people that would step up for this, but at this point, when this is happening, you just don't do that. It's just not how this whole thing works.
There's always somebody.
Right.
Mike Johnson was a nobody, a no name when the Kevin McCarthy, Matt Gaetz dilemma was present. And then all of a sudden we're like, who's Mike Johnson? Who's this guy that all of a sudden has support from Republicans and Democrats? And of course, he came from nowhere. So there are those people that Megan was talking about that would step up. However, Trump is supporting him. So I feel somehow, some way they'll get him through. I just hate the fact that he is so diehard Ukraine money. However, I do my best. I try to think that, if you're the speaker, you have to, because it's such a razor thin margin, you have to somehow work across the aisle. You do.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I think he's trying. I don't think he's a guy that's a rhino plant, but he just seems kind of wavery, wishy-washy on certain things. I know it's, for lack of a better term, it can be a minefield trying to tiptoe around and go back and forth. But my gosh, does he have his work cut out for him?
Yeah. And some people right now you guys are talking about, Jim Jordan and, being Speaker of the House. I personally think that Jim Jordan is in the perfect position for him. I love him in oversight. I think that he's a great bulldog. And I love having him there. And I think that position in oversight is underlooked sometimes, and we just don't truly appreciate how valuable having someone that is the type of person that Jim Jordan is in that situation. And Jim Jordan lately, he's got some people kind of breathing down his neck too. He's been in the hot seat the last couple of weeks for a few different things too. So, I mean, all of them are at some point or another. But I think that Speaker Johnson will get in. As we've seen President Trump, it's like as though he's got a crystal ball. He just, this past 3 to 4 months, everything that he has done, it's like someone is reading the future. He, is putting people in place. He is doing things. He is laying out policy that just seems to be I don't even know. Like what would you even say? He's got a crystal ball, and I trust him.
The only thing with Jim Jordan is he tried to be the speaker when Mike Johnson was elected. Jim Jordan couldn't get the votes.
Yeah.
He could not get the votes. Would something change now that you have a different makeup? Still 217, 215. I don't know. I would trust him as speaker more so than Mike Johnson. But once again, you've got to find somebody who's going to be able to work across the aisle as well, at least when it's there. And it's not going to be Vivek. He's not coming in. It's not going to be Elon to be speaker. Those are fun things to say.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
That's not.
Yeah, I don't think that Elon. I think that he is great. I think he's so bright. I think he's so intelligent. He is just amazing in so many ways. But for him to publicly speak on a regular basis, I don't think that would be the greatest position for him.
Yeah,
I just don't. I think that
I still see videos of
place.
Certain people trying to say Elon is similar to an antichrist. When you look at his name, when you look at him working with NASA and NASA meaning snake and the image of a snake and him looking like he's so perfect and I mean, there are people who think he's a plant, Megan.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
to our listeners, they do feel like this is too good to be true. Nancy says Jordan is off for Ukraine. There you go. Paul says, don't forget Scalise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I thought Scalise tried to be too and couldn't get the votes. The bigger problem, according to Chris, with the Republican Party is you can't get on the same page when it comes to issues, even that their constituents want. Exactly, because their egos are prevalent on the Republican side. We've talked about it often. Republicans don't get behind Republican causes. Democrats do. Eric calls them army ants. They do. That's one credit for, and they'll back a lie all the way through.
Yep.
Republicans are like, take my ball and I'm going to go home. We see it on the local level. We see it on the state level. We certainly see it on the national level. Karen says, I like Jordan the best as well. And by the way, if it comes into the political situation, if you guys have predictions for 2025, as we zoom into 2025 tonight into the morning, let us know when it comes. I predict it's going to be a great year with Donald Trump. I really do. Now, that doesn't mean the deep state's going to be sitting back. They're going to continue to go after him, but I'm predicting a much better year in 2025 than 2024. This is canceltheshow.com. Megan Marie Red. I'm Vic Faust here. You see us here. If there is anything crazy that could happen Friday, I don't see it right now, but you never know. And guess what? It is on the news dump day as well.
Yeah.
So
True.
We'll see where it happens, what's going to take center stage, but I do believe it's going to be Johnson. I think he'll get enough backing when it comes from the Democratic side as well. I also found it interesting as we look into some of the fun things for 2025. This is great, and I love it. The White House media. It may look a little different, and it should, because you know how we were lied to last year in so many ways, so many times by so many people. The White House media room is going to look a little bit different. Caroline Leavitt is going to be the new White House press secretary, and you're quickly going to see a polished woman who is not lying, a woman that looks professional, looks credible, has the backing. As I like to say, she has the substance and the sizzle, unlike what we have had previously. I mean, we had an ugly all-around person, liar, doing that job for the last 4 years. It's like, ugh.
And before her, we had Jen Psaki, who was equally not good.
And then before her, the Hall of Fame, Kellyanne McNamee.
Yep.
All-time best White House press secretary. So listen to what Caroline Leavitt says is going to happen when it comes to the media room and how it could have a different look, and you don't necessarily see the usual suspects.
Well, 3 weeks from today, President Trump will be inaugurated, and I very much look forward to getting behind that podium. He has put together a team of exceptionally qualified individuals to serve in both the White House and across the federal government in his cabinet, and I'm so excited to get to work with my colleagues and my friends to make this country great again. As for the press briefing room, we are certainly exploring ways on how to make sure that room reflects the media habits of the American people in 2024, not in the 1980s. And if this election proved anything, it proved that the American people are no longer listening to the mainstream bias, anti-Trump legacy media. In fact, the ratings of many networks, not this one, but some others, are in the tank. And Americans are consuming their news from podcasters, social influencers, and yes, TikTok, as President Trump so exceptionally used on the campaign trail. So we will look to effectively communicate his message through all mediums so that all Americans are hearing the facts from the White House directly, not through the lens of the ever-biased anti-Trump legacy media.
And I think that President Trump is going to bring back what I call, Caroline Levitt, the democratization of information, where everyone, the stay-at-home mom, the welder on the job looking at his phone at that moment, the billionaire who has 25 people looking over social media for him, everyone receives a presidential communication instantly and free of charge. We miss that kind of transparency. Caroline Levitt, a new mom.
There you have
Caroline Levitt is your new White House press secretary. And but we're just, yeah, Glenn says she's amazing. And she's only 24. I have to look up her age. I don't know about that.
I think she's a little older than that.
Clearly, she's a beautiful woman. Clearly, she's an intelligent woman. And clearly, she has a plan for the White House press room, which excites me when it comes to, yes, podcasters. That's right. A lot of times people will hem-haw around or be negative towards things that they don't know about, or if they've been taught something different over their life, or if they've gotten used to something, it's very difficult for humans to change all of a sudden. So you may have people, podcasters, are you kidding me? In the White House press room? Really? Yeah, that's the welcome. We're here. We've been doing this for 2 years. We saw we have the vision. It is the new way. It's not your old local news. It's not anymore. It's not the old national news. It's not. And thank God we have somebody. Yes, you were right from the chat line. She looks amazing and she sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she sure does. It'll be definitely refreshing. And I love seeing all of your predictions coming in here. And some of you are right, I think, in saying that, going into 2025 might not be, crystal ice smooth going into it. I think that we are going to see some shakeups. I don't think that the Democrats are done trying to see what they can do as far as, accusing Donald Trump of things, trying to make his inauguration not as smooth as it should be, doing the whole mask thing, these pandemics. So you're right. And hopefully that with having a new leader, he can get a hold of some of these things and make sure that they do not get out of hand like it has been for the last 4 years.
Tanya says, agreed. 37 House of Representatives last week, of course, voted against Trump and Elon. That was that bill, the debt ceiling bill, praying for a positive January 3rd and Senate vote when it comes to that, because we know that there will still be fights, obviously. But when it comes to media and where you're getting your information, that's a sign of things to come. That's why we ask you to like, subscribe, share our show, and let people know what we're doing. From the chat line, podcasters carry a much bigger audience than the biased media mainstream. It's true. And it's happening, and it drives the left insane. All you have to do is look. I mean, look at what they're saying. They're trying to shut down, they being politicians. How dare them talk on X? Oh my God, they're sending the wrong messages. We're starting to see that. That's when you know it's like, oh, it's burning them alive. That shows like ours and others are where it is at. This is what's going to be around. This is where people have an opportunity to actually have a platform and talk and see and interview guests and think what you can. I'm not even going there. I know, I see, Jeannie. They're trying to push the whole bird flu thing again. Yes, really they've been trying to do the bird flu. I'm like, oh, I'm not jumping into it. We'll see. Yeah, that was another thing. Dave said, hey, what do you think about your new law about driving using your phone, January 1st? Technically, in the state of Missouri now, you're not supposed to be on your phone, or you could get a ticket if an officer sees that, just like it is in the state of Illinois. And that's a state that's close to us where we broadcast from, which is why I bring that up. So,
well, and I think because you asked, what do we think about it? And I mean, I think that it's fair. I do. I don't think that people, from personal experience, I know how, what happens if I'm trying to text and drive at the same time. Swerve, almost hit a mailbox. I mean, you name it, it happens. I mean, I'm just being honest. So to say that that it's kind of going overboard, I don't think it is. I think that we all should put our phones down. And if you're in a long drive or something, figure out how to use your voice to text, or your Marco Polo or your FaceTime or whatever it is. Just don't be looking down and not paying attention to the road. So
now, how does that work with
that.
GPS?
What
Like,
do you mean?
can you use GPS on a phone, or
that's a good
how's
point.
this working?
I'm sure there's got to be an area of discretion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a good point, Joe. Very good point.
Well, but also, like, when you're using a GPS, for the most part, you're just kind of glancing, taking just a brief moment to kind of look at it. And you don't have to be looking down. You don't have to be typing. And there's so many, different things now that you can do, that if you do have to use your phone, if your car doesn't have navigation, but your phone does, there's so many things you can do to hoist your phone right up there so that it's eye level with you, so that you can just kind of glance. Nobody's saying don't look anywhere except for the road, but you can't be engaged in trying to type, especially if you don't have your glasses on like me and you're blind.
We'll get an officer on.
Yeah.
I used to get officer. We'll get an officer on to talk about it. All phones have speakers, very easy to use navigation from a voice standpoint. That coming in from Don on the chat line. And every state, no matter where you're listening, has their own laws, their own rules to follow through. Jeannie says it's easier to use my phone than the stupid screen in my car. Yeah, no, it is. I agree. I'm the same way. Windows are too dark. I don't know what that means. Maybe for somebody, police or law enforcement, to look in. Maybe that's what you mean from that standpoint. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, some of those things happening. I'm just grateful it kind of led into that. I looked down at where we are, you guys, and this was the point I wanted to make before we moved on, is we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And we appreciate the People's Platform and you guys jumping in and giving us information and stories and ideas and participating in the chat and making it fun and what it is. And we are grateful with that. Yeah, people are still, I knew that once we hit the phones, you can send text with Siri. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Cool. Let's hear how the police view it. Exactly. And just be careful, because all these cars are recording everything that you do in the car. They are.
I mean, I think that everybody's recording everything that everyone is doing.
That's a good
at
point.
all times. So keep your side of the street clean. You don't have anything to worry about. That's what
I've
say.
never heard that. Keep your side of the street clean.
Yeah. It's real easy. If you just do that, you never have to worry. Right?
I like it. That's very good.
It works.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Here Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays right now, 9 a.m. to about 10-ish or so. We'll do spot shows every now and then as well. And we are approaching our 500th episode. And we are grateful for everybody who is a part of that. So that's the podcasting platform. You guys follow. You guys go and look. You guys do study too, just like we do. And this is an opportunity for us to put it all together and to put it all out there and to see what's happening and get information out, get truth out, because it drives the left insane when we're doing that. And as good as the left has been at politics and staying together, the one thing that the right has dominated them on was first conservative radio and the followers. And now from a podcasting social media standpoint, we are doing a phenomenal job, especially on X, picking up on TikTok as well. And I do believe, and I've called it for a couple of weeks now, that TikTok will be around. I 100% believe it, especially when you hear people in Trump's administration talking about how great it is. And then, of course, people like Kevin O'Leary talking about trying to buy it. From the chat line, Megan, us Gen Xers know how to operate a car without a phone.
We do. Darn right.
My car has none of these capabilities. It's too old. Yeah, it just depends on the car that you have as well, obviously. We can do that too. Okay. I love Donald Trump because Donald Trump is reminding us all of what the media tried to do. The same media that is wondering why nobody respects them anymore. The left wondering why their party has been just put apart, torn apart. And now you're reminded. Donald Trump put this out on Truth Social yesterday, and this is just great. It reminds us all about the lies about how Joe Biden was so physically fit. His mental acuity was top-notch, ready to be president and be president for another 4 years. This is a reminder with Raggedy Ann.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. I can't even keep up with him.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
I can testify because I've been working very closely with this president for the past 2 years. I've been knowing him for 30 years. And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker.
The president is focused. He's detail-oriented. He's always thinking about the big picture.
He is engaging. He is capable. He has an incredible record as president.
And I'm often with him on foreign trips. He's at the top of his game.
So he has a vision. He has knowledge. He has judgment. He has a strategic thinking.
I met with the president, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he seemed fine to me.
I have complete confidence in the president. I have watched him expertly guide meetings of staff and cabinet members. I could not have more confidence in the president.
I would just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine.
But he is, again, knowledgeable, wise.
Incredibly sharp, incredibly probing, incredible command of the details.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp and he's not capable.
We see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issue.
And you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has.
I say his age is an asset.
Aha! He's wise.
Yes, he's wise. He has wisdom. He has experience.
And his experience, because of his age and his wisdom, has been invaluable to this country.
A lot of countries, people who've been in office a longer period of time are praised for their wisdom.
I have seen a lot of 72-year-olds not as capable as this 80-year-old.
It is hard for us to keep up with this president.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. He's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS that's so deep, your boots will get stuck in.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. From the Donald Trump team, they rock with their social media.
Yep. And I'm just glad that it's not just me that is always constantly trying to remind everyone about the lies that were told to the American people for years. I wish that they would do one of these videos and they would go back and they would show all of the people who ran for political positions saying that that they were going to take Donald Trump down. I wish that they would remind everybody that all of the cases brought against Trump, were just bull. I mean, that Hochul made a brand new law for E. Jean Carroll to be able to come in to accuse Donald Trump.
Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York.
Right. I mean, can somebody do a video of all of these, things too, just to remind people, just to start the new year off right, so that everybody remembers everything that they have done and how they have treated the American people? Because we can sit here and we can laugh at this because most of us are completely aware of the fact that we were being lied to and didn't even, blink an eye when it came to it. But there are so many people that fell for it and they were treated like they were dumb and they accepted it. And that's not fair to do to people either.
Good point, Megan. Paul says, and the left holds no one accountable for the last 4 years of turning the blind eye. Also, there was here's another issue. Even, and I believe this was CNN, from CNN, Joe. It was CNN or MSNBC, where they discussed this for a minute and a half, literally about how bad Biden was. Listen to this again. At least people are talking about it from Face the Nation from Sunday.
One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was undercovered or underreported. Jan?
Undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years, and yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. Yeah. Yet, still, incredibly, we read in the Washington Post that his advisors are saying that he regrets that he dropped out of the race. Mm-hmm. You know, that he thinks he could have beaten Trump. And I think that is either delusional or they're gaslighting.
President
American
Biden
people.
has said repeatedly he was sick during the debate June 27th in Atlanta, and he's always been fine, and he leaves fine. That is his position, the position of many of his top aides as well, even though there is that reporting.
Robert Costa.
Yeah. Now you see, people are starting to talk. It always comes out eventually.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, the year ends. So we're like, okay, we're going to put this behind us. But thank God we see all of the lies that were there. And I find it seriously comical to the point where now you go back and you look at who said what, so you don't forget. So you have that track record and you keep score.
Yep. And I think it's comical that Joe Biden really honestly thinks, if he does, or if that's just someone creating, trying to fill him up with another, fantasy story, that he thinks that he could have taken Trump, that he now regrets being pulled and pushed and kicked out of the race by his own party, but he thinks that he should have stayed. I guess put up a bigger fight. I'm not sure. I mean, if the guy, he doesn't right now, just on Sunday when he talked, like you can barely hear him. He sounds so terrible.
Megan.
And then but he thinks that he could have been the next president. I don't get it. But it's nice to hear these people finally say that the Democratic Party made a huge mistake and not having a primary, being too selfish.
Well, some of them have on the media side. The people who said it aren't doing it. I mean, the liars, all those politicians and people, they're liars. But it is what it is. From the chat line, mainstream media has lost all credibility, which is why podcasting and what you see in social media and what we do has credibility. And it's gaining by the day. And all you have to do is look at shows and look at research and then what's said, what's reported, and then what happens. And then you find out really fast how credible something is. My wise mom said a lie will always come out. She's right. From the chat lines, also, sad part is that the diehard lefties are still explaining away, of course, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And also from the chat line, let me go back up to it. I think I found it here. Let me put it up there on the screen. Here we go. Oh, I can't read it. Can you read it, Megan?
What about the 52nd? Okay. So Chris says, I'm beginning to believe that we have a 52nd state in the union and hang on, guys. And all the leftist media live in it. The state of delusion. It must be pretty big and overpopulated.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. The state of delusion.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much sums up 2024. I think that it was a year of delusion and derangement. I truly do.
And rebirth, though. Who would have ever thought one of the greatest things, Megan, what we've already seen, one of the greatest things that's happened is the rebirth of Donald Trump, the winning of the election, the debates, the bullets, all of it. I mean, what an incredible final 4 or 5 months of the year that we had with it. Glenn, a state of confusion for the Democrats and the lefties who don't want to get on board and watch this country become something great, something magnificent again.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be those pushes. But just think, we sometimes tend to forget the great that happens in our lives. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump he's going to be president. He's been elected.
Yeah, that's the one good thing that happened in 2024.
My Lord.
That's for sure. And thanks for bringing up, Glenn, Joe Biden, and all of the pardons. And I would love to know what the left thinks about all of these pardons. I would love to hear their delusionary excuses and reasoning for all of the different pardons that Joe Biden has given out. It just blows my mind. I'm not even sure if people even know who he has pardoned and the criminal, just disgusting acts that so many of these people, they should not be pardoned. They should have been, I don't want to say it, but something different should have happened to many of these people years ago when they were first found guilty. And so, again, it's the party of delusion.
It's the most pardons by any president, and it's not even close. Not even close.
Right.
And guess who has the fewest
he's not
pardons?
doing it. The guy, he doesn't even know where he is. He has no clue. Can you imagine sitting here and over 8,000 presenting Joe Biden over 8,000 different, issues and people that he could pardon? Do you know how long that would have taken him back in his good day when he was mentally cognitive? You know how long that would take somebody? And all of a sudden, he gets out his magic wand and overnight there's, 8,000 plus pardons. And it's.
And on top of it too, Megan, to add to your point, 40% of his presidency on vacation. Legitimately, look it up. Once again, this show is about facts before feelings. Facts, not fiction. Other shows and Democrats will try to tell you, oh, this is what's happening. And they never talk about America. It's, oh, we hate Trump. We hate Trump. They never talk about a better America. You hear Democrat shows. They don't know what they're talking about. They've lost their minds. They're like Biden. The cognitive ability isn't there. The elevator doesn't go to the top shelf. The brain power, the brain juice just isn't there. And to cap it all off, they don't have facts. And they don't provide facts. It's the emotional. So yes, Donald Trump and team are talking about America. And yes, you shouldn't trust them. Donna says he let out murderers, drug lords. My God. Yeah, it's the most by far. When you talk about the pardon situation and how he could let off all those pardons, how he could be signing all these executive orders, how he can be signing all these bills when he's spending 40% of his time on vacation, taxpayer vacations, mind you, 40%. Oh, gee, thanks. He and Jill finishing off. So that time is almost done. We're almost there. The sad point is another thing that we saw in 2024 was the Ukraine story. And I know it's frustrating as all get out. It is. And it still goes. Megan said earlier, yesterday, another $2.5 billion for Ukraine, another $2.5 billion. We thought it was interesting to look at this graphic to see who gets kickbacks according. And Josh Dunlap, if you don't follow him on Twitter or X, you should. His stuff is top notch. You look at Ukrainian officials showing the kickback numbers of money coming back to politicians in America. And all these politicians are people who support money going to Ukraine. Does it make sense now? Does A connect to B? It does for me. Who's in the top at 92 million? Who is that, Joe or Megan?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, 92 million.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell, Republican. Rhino, days numbered, another almost $90 million. Nancy Pelosi, 86 million. Chuck Schumer, 66 million. All promoting money to Ukraine, and Ukrainian officials releasing the kickback numbers that they gave U.S. politicians. Oh, Mitt Romney, 71 million. Lindsey Graham, 82 million. John Cornyn, Republican, 41 million. Adam Schiff, 62 million. Dan Crenshaw, 20 million. Cheney, Elizabeth Cheney, $77 million. McCarthy, $42 million. All these rhinos. Jamie Raskin, $38 million, who was threatening to not let Trump take office in January. Mike Pence, the turncoat loser that he is, $61 million. Fake, phony rhino. Greg Pence, $17 million. Rick Scott, another Republican, $63 million. Hakeem Jeffries, $74 million. Omar, $33 million. And from what I can see, Elizabeth Warren, $42 million.
Pocahontas, 42 mil.
They all have their hands in the cookie jar from the chat line. I knew Lindsey Graham's name would be on there, of course. Love how Dems are talking smack about Musk. Did they forget about Soros? Yeah, another great point. You see how money can be funneled back. And of course, when you started to see the money go to Ukraine, and wait a second, where are the checks and balances? Is this earmarked for anything? No, we don't know where it's gone. Where's all the ammunition? Where are the millions that were supposed to go here and there? Gee, we can't find that. It's because the money is being funneled. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
Yeah. Lots of money laundering.
Why
But
is Cheney
the Biden
in there?
families,
I thought she lost her seat. I guess that was money that she had. Oh yeah, good point. Very good point. The Biden crime syndicate.
Yeah, they've perfected it. And you can do it, that we've learned now, and then you won't be you won't get in trouble for it. You just get a pardon.
Well, those are some of the things that happened in 2024. DEI started to lose its luster. Many colleges saying, we're not doing this anymore. We're not playing the color skin game, but it hasn't totally gone away. Costco is still pushing DEI. Just remember that every time you go to Costco. All right. I'm sorry. Remember that you have a choice on where you shop and what you buy and where you buy it from. Just remember what Costco is openly promoting DEI. Just remember that. Just putting it out there. Facts, not fiction. Facts first before your feelings. And not only has that happened from a DEI standpoint, but Megan, as you'll introduce the video, you still have groups that will try to play color against color.
Yeah. And so when we listen to this video, there's just so much more to this video. It's not just people being upset, Black people being upset about Mississippi Valley State University, historically Black college, known for its academics, its culture, musicians. It's just, a really great school. And they've been around for a long time. And Donald Trump invited them to come and play at his inauguration. So of course because you have to remember that Donald Trump is a racist, a fascist, a sexist, a homophobe, a transphobe, a xenophobe. Remember, so Donald Trump doesn't like anyone. And so how dare these students accept the invitation to play at a presidential inauguration? But just there's the meat of this message coming from this man is so powerful, because it's not just about this particular situation. It is about racism in America and the true root of it. So listen up.
Mississippi Valley State University was just invited to Trump's inauguration to play for the entire world to hear. And HBCU, these kids been playing since they were probably little kids. These kids been playing instruments since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. And they're about to be on a world stage for Germany to hear them, Denmark to hear them, Africa can hear them, Australia's going to hear them. Everybody's going to be watching his inauguration, hearing these young Black kids that grew up and dreamed of playing on a world stage for everybody to hear. This is one of the biggest stages they ever going to play on. And guess who's got a problem with it? Black people. Black people. Now, see, Black people didn't have a problem when Kamala Harris had Beyonce paying her $10 million. Didn't have a problem paying Meg Thee Stallion millions of dollars to twerk in front of everybody so the world can see how stupid Black people can really look at a presidential inauguration. Nobody had a problem with that. No. But Black people got a problem when Black people are being put on a world stage, not by somebody Black, by Trump, who funded and promised future funding for HBCUs. They're still getting those funds to this day. HBCUs partly exist in the way they do because of legislation that Trump put on the books. Not because of Obama or anybody else put on the books, but because of Trump. And Trump is like, not only do I want to help you at the HBCU, I want you to come and play at my inauguration. I want everybody to see all you young black children that used to be 7 years old playing saxophones, 13-year-olds playing drums, trombones at 19. I want you to come play on a world stage to show people how talented our black young Americans are. On a world stage, the only people that got a problem is black people.
Boom.
I made a video saying
That's
the most
good.
racist people we got to this day are black people. You believe me now?
That is good, Megan.
It is good. It's such a huge message. And I just think that it's so important to hear. And I just got the chills when he was talking about, the 7-year-old kids that, played the drums or the trombone. And, they put so much into this, and they deserve to be on a world stage. They deserve to be seen and heard and appreciated just like any other child. And so for anyone to put color into the mix, shame on you. And it just goes to show that the divide in this country, the whole systemic racism, if you will, coming from, the white people and us needing to pay reparations and just on and on and on. It's just so not true. And I love to hear people like this, that just, it's common sense. What he just said, it's not tricky. It's just common sense. And we have to start really seeing it for what it's worth. And Rick, to answer your question, I wondered that too. Rick asked, why $350,000 for these kids to go and play at this inauguration? And I wondered about that. And you're right, it is $350,000. And I guess it's probably obviously to get them there, to get all of their equipment there, for them to stay there. I'm not sure what else.
No, it's exactly what it is.
And it is, and it's a lot of money, but this school wants to make sure that all of these students can make it, and they ask the community for support. They ask alumni for support, so people can donate. You can do all of these things, to make sure that these students have that opportunity.
It's a catch-22. Here's the thing. The more you talk about racism, the more there is. I agree with you from that chat line. It's a catch-22. You shouldn't be talking about it. But if you don't tell people. But if you do, you tell people what is actually happening. So I don't know. I don't know if you should talk about it or not. I really don't.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, personally, from a personal standpoint, I deal with children and young adults that were raised in a home to be racist, to not like white people, and to not trust people. So it is really important to me to make sure that these children that I work with know that despite the color of my skin, I might be the one person in their life that they actually can trust. And it breaks my heart every single time I hear it, when you hear that that there are people still raised right now in 2024, going into 2025, that are literally raised to hate white people, to turn away from them, to
and
not
there's white
trust them.
people that are raised to hate other colors as well.
You're exactly right. And so, and it just goes all the way around. And so someone said, we got to take color out of it. And we do, but it is still prevalent, and it is real. And if we just pretend like it's not happening, I don't think that we're going to get anywhere with it. So that's just from my personal experience with it. So yeah, and I can't wait to watch.
It's also
this
better.
School do this.
It's also better to watch a black man call out the black community, in my humble opinion.
Well, they're allowed to. They're allowed to, and more power to them, because how many, when a black speaks out against something that should not be happening, they hear it just as much. They get just as much kickback, or not kickback, but what would that be called? Blowback from their fellow, people. And they suffer great consequence for it too. So I think it's great.
Yeah, just, it's one of those things. I am grateful that they were invited, and people within the HBCU colleges, the all black colleges, know what Trump did and what Trump has done for them. Media won't tell you about it, of course. National media won't, local media won't, but they know. And the black leaders of those schools know, and they've spoke publicly about it. And of course, as we know, Donald Trump is president because the black community voted for him over 20%. They did. Democrats will lie and try to cheat the numbers down, but 20% of blacks voted for Donald Trump. African Americans, young people, old Democrat voting bases, brought Donald Trump in the year of 2024, which made the end of this year, which was a crazy year, so remarkable. So remarkable, finishing up Donald Trump, of course, being alive. Donald Trump coming out of nowhere. The resurrection of Donald Trump. The proverbial phoenix rising from the ashes. All of the ways to describe it. And here we are as we head into 2025. A newer, stronger, more advanced Avenger team representing America. And we're excited for tonight. Will everyone stay up till 12 for the new year? Do you stay up till 12, Megan?
No.
You know?
No.
Joe,
Nope,
will
I
you
don't
be
even
up
try.
at midnight?
I may. We try. I don't think we're going to make it, though.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I may or may not be up
New
too.
Year's Eve very differently, probably.
How do you celebrate?
Oh, I just kick back. I'm like, it's the end of the year. Christmas is over. Think about what I'm going to do for New Year's, how I'm going to start it off. Get a great meal and some good sleep. Love it.
Do you go out for a meal or are you making it?
No, we don't. I never go out for New Year's Eve. I think that's just not a good night to go out. I think you're very limited in your menu selection. The food's not that great because they're in a hurry to turn the tables over. And it's crowded and it's, amateur night for a lot of people. So just, stay in, make a great meal and have a fire going, some good movies, some good games with the kids and that's about it.
Greg is a loyal viewer, loyal listener. He says he'll be broadcasting New Year's music show tonight, 9 to 12. Right. Greg, if you want to put that on there so I can remind people where they can find you. Sure, you can throw out a shout out to yourself for people to watch tonight when it comes to that. I don't know if I'll be up or not, but at the same point in time, I'm hoping and praying that if I'm watching any of the national shows, maybe somehow, some way, Donald Trump puts out information tonight, as we go into the new year. The last thing I want to see is anything from Joe Biden on vacation. That's for sure. But we normally see the president or somebody speak at some point in time, what's going to happen. And of course, we pray for safety wherever people are, if you're going out, or the people who are in the big gathering spots like Times Square in New York and all the security that goes into that and that sort of thing.
Times Square sounds like absolute torture to me on New Year's Eve.
Kimberly says we're going to mass, then home for beef, vegetables, soup, and biscuits. Sounds like a family tradition there. And you can never go wrong by going to mass or church. That is for sure. By the way, Greg's show tonight is the Saturday night party on jetjams.net from 9 to 12. Jetjams.net.
Yes. Turn it on, have it in the background. You'll love it.
Jet Jams. We've got it for you tonight. Robert, good that you check in from Michigan in the Detroit area. Old calendar New Year, and you taught me this before, was April 1st with 13 months in a year. This is true, by the way. This is not a conspiracy theory. It was April 1st with 13 months in a year, the spring rebirth, and it makes sense to him. The first time I saw it, I had to look at it a few different times, but it is interesting to go and to try to look it up. And Robert, if you want to share information, please do on the chat line so people can look at that, because it certainly piqued my interest when we changed and why we changed to 12 months from the 13th that we had. Have a safe new year. Happy New Year, everyone. That coming from the chat line as well. Greg also says jetjams.net. Also tune in. You can find our Facebook page at Saturday Night Party, beat mixing the best of the 80s and 90s with Greg. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Penn's Landing afterward, but now it seems to risk to go into Philly. Somebody's talking about what they've got going on tonight. Good food, wonderful. Oh, I used to go to Chinatown in Philly. Fireworks at Penn's Landing. Gotcha.
Where is this, Sarah? You are saying that you are waiting tonight at the Pine Room Steak and Lobster Special.
Ooh.
She says from 4 to 9. She will be serving. Where
is
that?
the Pine Room located? Because if you try to get reservations or you look at places like yesterday, nothing's open. Or if you're trying today, nothing's open. It's not. It just won't be. So yeah, let us know. The Pine Room. Hadn't heard of the Pine Room. We're not sure. I'm assuming it's in the state of Missouri. We broadcast out of the St. Louis metropolitan area, but I know we have viewers and people who jump in on the chat line from all across the country. Donna says, my church has no New Year's Eve vigil mass this year, or I would go. I'm going tomorrow. So there you go. Donna says the old calendar didn't need a leap year. Okay, so that's interesting when it came to that.
Okay, there's the Pine Room, Little Gem in St. Charles, Missouri. Oh, well, thank you.
Dave says it's amazing.
Okay, well, you guys learning something.
Yeah,
something
where
new.
is it located? So we're giving all this hype to the Pine Room. Where is it located?
I love a Little Gem. When you say little and gem together,
Maybe I have to check out the Pine Room.
You win me.
In
Is
St.
it on the
Charles.
streets of St. Charles?
I don't know.
It sounds like something that might be at the streets of St. Charles.
Which is absolutely magical this time of year with the lights and
it's the most wonderful time of the year.
And it actually is the most Christmassy, or one of the most Christmassy cities in America right now. It was just on the news several times, on national news, which I thought was really cool.
Another thing that's come out this year in 2024, Trump says he's getting rid of daylight saving time. So that will happen. He already said that that's going to go away. We'll see how that affects everybody. Actually, when you do that, we're going to have a little bit less sunlight. But I don't know. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But apparently people like it. I could care less.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay much attention to it.
Donna says, stay away from the city. Gunshots, St. Louis. Fireworks here tonight, according to Tanya. Addie's going to church at 4:00. Spent the rest of the year at home when I was younger, so there you go. Small bar, the cook will be offended if you ask for steak sauce or ketchup.
That's funny.
But we appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to be back on Thursday for 2025 as we kick things off. Real quick shout out to our advertisers. Grateful for SentryH2O.com. Check it out. SentryH2O.com. Use our link if you get it. It's the best water. It cleans it, and then it puts oxygen, magnesium, and calcium in it. I use it. It's amazing. Makes you feel good. I sleep through the night. Your skin looks better. You feel better. Nothing more important you can do for your body than get water that's done right. Not just purified, but also with the stuff added. The good stuff. The oxygen, calcium, magnesium. Final time here. Use this link. SentryH2O.com/discount/safe sips. You can get a 25% discount for an under the sink system, which you can put in 15 minutes, or a house system. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hey, special thanks also to Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. I went and watched Mizzou win yesterday, beating Iowa in their bowl game. 21 wins in the last 2 years. One of the top 4 teams in America, by the way, when it comes to wins the last 2 years. Loved it at Wenty's. Had some good food, good time, saw a lot of people. And of course, it is a great place to go. There's a reason why people go back. There's a reason why Megan goes there for her kids. There's a reason why Joe goes there and I go there. Wenty's. Ben and Marla doing a great job at 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Also, special thanks to Playoffs. You can go there and watch some sports as well. They were rocking and rolling last night as Detroit Mike, the owner of the bar, had the Detroit Lions on as the Lions won, setting up a big game next week. 14-2 Lions taking on the 14-2 Vikings for the #1 seed in the NFC. Check out Playoffs Sports Bar and Grill. And if you're using charcoal, use the best charcoal in America. It's Rockwood charcoal. Not even close. Made in the state of Missouri, where the best charcoal comes from. Please do yourself a favor. When you buy it, grab a piece, grab one of those little charcoal briskets and break it apart in your hand. You'll see how it's all natural. That's what you want to use. If you can't break it apart from another brand, those are the additives, the fillers, and you don't want that stuff burning on your food. Use the natural Rockwood charcoal. And of course, if you're getting some food, check out Capriati's, open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The best sandwiches start with the best ingredients, Wagyu beef and roasted turkey. The turkey's fresh, roasted overnight, sliced and diced for your loving. And of course, if you want to try out their platters, please do so when it comes to catering. It's second to none. You'll find it at Capriati's. Absolutely amazing. And of course, if you're looking into real estate these days, you need to look at Megan Livingstone. Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com. Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com. You can also give her a call, 314-249-1708, 314-249-1708. She'll set you straight. She'll keep you positive. She'll set the goal with you and help you stay on that goal so you don't waver in your emotions going up and down, because we know the market can be a little crazy. And you want to get a plan in place. I saw yesterday that Donald Trump is already talking about kickstarting the housing market. He's got 2 plans that we'll be talking about as we get into 2025, because that is another initiative, because we know There's just not a lot of inventory, at least in the Midwest. And the housing market is not what it used to be. So we'll see what they have planned, but you want to get your plan in place. Give Megan a call, 314-249-1708. And of course, if you want some custom clothing, Ben Lawler and Tom James is where you go. You'll never want anything else again. And at least if you have one garment, it's a great gift for somebody. You get lifetime adjustments. The price may surprise you at how affordable it is. And the selection is absolutely incredible. So we appreciate advertisers. We're always looking for more. And of course, we appreciate any donations as we end the year. We are grateful for those of you who have donated, even the small amounts. We are grateful for Paul. You donated at the end of last week. We are grateful for your donation as well. And anybody else. And if you have advertisers, let us know. Vic@cancelthisshow.com. And if you want to donate, you can do so at cancelthisshow.com. And you click on the menu button. And then, of course, you click donate. We're grateful for it. It's been a good year, and another year of Cancel This, 2 years in. And grateful for Joe, who does what he does. And of course, grateful for Megan, who has jumped in and done a phenomenal job here.
Yep, it's been a good several months. That's for sure.
Happy New Year's to the great sponsors. Thank you, Donna. Texting at a light. Thank you for the promo. That's good. And of course, we are appreciative of everybody there. We'll be back on Thursday, same time, same place. We appreciate it. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show, and letting people know what we're doing as we kickstart 2025. Have fun. Be safe today, right? Yep. For Pro Joe and Megan, I'm Vic. Have an awesome day. Let's finish off 2024. We can't wait to see you on Thursday.
Happy New Year.
Are you looking to elevate your brand's presence? Partner with Cancel This Show with myself, Vic Faust, and my co-host,
Megan Marie. We're ranked in the top 10% globally.
Our show has reached over 1.68 million engaged listeners, and we continue to grow monthly.
Podcasting is one of the best ways to advertise
because it offers a highly engaged audience, SEO-targeted reach,
and the ability to build a personal connection with listeners.
Dive into the dynamic world of cancel culture, politics, all current events, and the latest news with us.
It's the American taxpayers that are having to pay for all of this monkey business left and right.
Look at all of these pictures. They are using AI to generate fake photos, and we show you them. And Joe will show, we got a video of one, we've got certain pictures.
They were hiding the fact and trying to lie to the American people for months that Joe Biden was doing well.
This is Kamala. This is Joe Biden. It's Barack Obama. It's Jake Sullivan, all together doing anything and everything they can to strike back at Donald Trump because he continues to kick their ass.
If that doesn't make you mad enough to vote one way or another in this election, nothing will do it.
Get your company's voice heard, your brand recognized,
and the exposure you deserve.
Does your brand align with our mission?
Let's talk and make an impact together.